Hey, welcome to Brandbjerg. I'll show you around. So this is the entry. That's the first place to start. My name is Gro, and I'm a teacher here. Let's see. There you go. So I like to start in here, where we have some a wall of pictures of the students that are here, because that's actually the most important, who's here. So here's a great wall with all the students, and here they have been asked about their name, Hrefna, and where they're from. She's from Iceland, and what's her dream. And here she writes in Danish that she wants to study psychology in Denmark. So here you can just look at all these pictures and all these people from different places around the world. Many different places in Denmark, but also Japan, Poland, Belgium, the States, all different kind of places. So it's an international environment, and it's quite diverse also when it comes to age. One is 18, one is 30. So it's a mix of people. So in here we have the assembly hall. This is where we start every day. We start together in here. So there'll be like 120 students sitting here in this assembly hall. And then we have different ways of doing morning assemblies. So sometimes you'll meet a teacher or another staff member that will tell something about something they care about, a passion, or something they have knowledge about, or it could be something that happens in society that they want us to discuss. It could also be once a week we have a morning assembly where we sing. So we have these books. You'll all get a book when you arrive here. It's the Danish Folk High School Songbook, and most of the songs are Danish, but there's also songs in English and other languages. So every Wednesday we do a whole assembly where it's only singing, but we sing every day. We sing 1 or 2 songs from this book. And then we also sometimes invite students to do a morning assembly. So something that you have experienced or something you want to share, you can do that here at a morning assembly. Yeah. Sometimes we go outside, but mostly we meet in here for the morning together, all of us. That's Christopher. So here we have the dining hall, and right now it's empty because the students are having classes. But we have a quite wonderful kitchen, and at Brandbjerg we care a lot about sustainability also when it comes to our food, and we have quite high expectations to ourselves when it comes to ecological food. And also many students, they test out being vegetarian or vegan while they're here. Some also just are vegetarian or vegan when they arrive. And all of the rest of us who also likes to eat meat, we also get to try it, because we have days where we don't serve meat. And we do that because we believe that that's the future. We need to eat less meat. And we have so tasty food. They're really, really good at preparing all these different kinds of food. Let's just look out here. So, yeah, they're preparing right now. Hello. So when you're a student here, you also have some duties regarding, it could be the kitchen. So sometimes it's up to you come in like a living group, and that living group will have some duties in the kitchen. That can be doing the dishes, or it can also be helping with preparing food. So it's not every day you do this, but then you have a week where it's your duty, and then it could be someone else and you have a break. So that you're part of making this as well. Hi. There's always coffee and tea available that you can eat, and there's a small snack. So if you get hungry in between meals, there's like a little something you can grasp. Here we actually also like to sing, so that's why there's a piano here. because we sing before we start the meal. There's something about singing together that's very special, that we, it can create some sort of magic. I can't explain it, you have to experience it. But when we sing together, it brings us together, okay? you have to try, it's true. Oh, maybe I could just show you that this is the atrium yard. So that's kind of the heart, the middle of the school. And out here, when it's a nice weather, you also can sit out here and dine and have your lunch or your dinner. But otherwise, in the evenings, we turn up for a bonfire and we sit out here just having a cozy time. And there's kind of a small scene down there, so you could also move out your classes if you want to. But this is a meeting place, an outside meeting place in the middle of the school. And down here we have the bar. So this is the bar, and this is where the students have their parties in the weekend. And actually they do all of that themselves. So they prepare the parties, they make sure that they have what they want to drink, and if they want to have a theme. This team really likes doing theme parties. That differs a bit. But then they do it in here, and we also have other places where there's more space, but sometimes it can be nice to be crowded when you have a party. We normally do the parties on Saturdays. So Friday is not a party day, and we don't want the whole weekend to be only about partying. We want there to be some other activities as well for the community that everyone can be part of. And it's important that we don't want all the weekend to be a hangover weekend. We want something to happen. So the party is a part of the weekend, and normally on Saturdays. And about drinking, you can, if you want, you can drink a beer on Friday, but it's not about being drunk. So we talk about this with the students. What is the culture that you want to have regarding alcohol or parties? So this is the lounge, the hangout area, the living room, you could say. So as you see, there's a lot of couches here, a lot of blue couches, and it's a place where when there's not classes, there's always someone here, someone playing a game. We have many different games that we can find and play, but it could also just be a place to sit and talk. Someone knitting or drawing or doing other small creative things, and they can bring it down here, or just reading a book, and then you can meet other people that you maybe not meet while you have classes, and you mingle down here. So it's a very important room, and again, it's up to the students to find out how it should look, and I think there's an effort to be done to make it even more cozy down here. We have like small areas around the school, because some like to hang out in the big lounge, but it could also be that you want to hang out here, play table tennis. So there's some more people that like more activity in their spare time, then they can maybe do things like this. And there's also always open in other rooms around the school, so you can use them when you're off. And here we're moving out to the rooms where the students live, and we'll get to see a room. We'll just have to find a student that can show us. This is the orange corridor, and down here we have the yellow corridor. I mean, the doors are yellow and orange. And you live in a double room, and I can show you a little bit later. So this is kind of the area where the students live. There's also an upper floor, so you kind of live on top of each other. So if you live on orange floor, this is the view you have from your window, and this is east out here, so the sun is rising out here. It's very beautiful, and there's like a small what's it called, forest garden here, so it's also blooming when we get a little further into the summer. Gym is used for some classes, but it's also open, and you can do activities in here if you like, when you're off from your classes. There's a class here now. So this is actually a dancing class, I think. Hi. You can have climbing on your schedule, and the teachers can teach you how to climb, and you're also building your own routes or your own problems, as it's called in climbing. This is climbing without rope, because you have these big mattresses and you don't climb more than 3 meters high, then it's okay to fall down. They'll teach you how to fall as well. And then, but it's also open. That was what I wanted to say. It's open, so you can go out here. If you don't have it on your schedule, then you can still climb. So I think that's important, and it actually goes for all the rooms that we have here in Brandbjerg. We don't lock the door, so you can use it. You can use ceramics, you can use music, you can use climbing hall, all of these things, and do your own activities. So quite often, students do something. They say, I want to go and play soccer, who want to join, or basket, or I'm climbing, or whatever it could be. And then you meet over here. There's also a small cave, climbing cave up here. You want to practice really hanging and having strong fingers. It's climbing up here, and you can climb in the roof, or in the up there, all the way around. Downstairs we have a fitness room with some, lifting weights and rowing machines. So if you're into that, you can also grow your muscles here. And then we have my favorite room downstairs. And maybe we could see it. Hi. We're just moving around. Hello. So this is part of the fitness area. And there's also something in here. The rowing machines are here. But then we have 2 rooms with clothes. So over here we have like a makeup room, and in here we have our costume room. This is my favorite room because I love to dress up and to look silly. So we have all these costumes and hats and wigs and all weird stuff that we can dress up in. So you don't need to bring your theme party clothes. You can find it here. And I think actually it's a wonderful thing both to use it in our theater subjects, but also to use it just to be silly, because then we break down these barriers that can be between us, and we kind of meet each other in a new way. The other side of the other corridor, the students' corridor, and right now I can see that mountain bike, that's a class that they have mountain biking now, so maybe let's go and see what they're doing. We actually have a big mountain bike track just over here. Right now they're just using this small road, but with all these bumps and big stones and up and down. So and we have bikes here at the school that we can borrow and you can use for classes. There are many classes that is also outside, because we have outdoor as a subject, but also many other subjects where we use the outdoor area, and we have a quite wonderful outdoor area. We have a huge forest down here. That's a very, how can you say, in Danish terms, a wild forest. So it's a very diverse forest, and we love to use it outside. Now we'll move into ceramics. They have a class right now, I think, as well.
They wear down the stones, and then with the rain, they all comes down, and they are lying by the bottom of this mountain. And after year after year after year, all these.
Here you do ceramics all the way from scratch, right? And you burn them twice, and then second time you glaze them. And again, you can have classes here in ceramics, but you can also use it in your spare time. So if you don't have it as a class, then some of these students can teach you how to, and you can still get to do a cup or whatever you want. Yeah. And here we have art, and So yeah, you can use it for ceramics, but you can also paint, or we have all these different kind of things if you wanna, if you like that. Here is also a room. Hi Emil.
Hi.
What are you teaching today?
I'm teaching beer brewing. We're just on a break for a short while.
Beer what?
Beer brewing.
Beer brewing.
And we've had the first day today where they've been introduced to all the different parts of beer brewing, all the stuff we're using, the hops. Try to smell how nice they smell.
Okay. Is that the taste that the beer will get then?
That's some of the taste, yeah. From the hops and the different
It smells like
malts.
spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic American malts, and then the hops, and then the malts here. We've been talking about the brewing process, and then the next times we're gonna brew a beer every.
So the beer brewing is, it's a subject that we have here. We also have these woodcraft subjects, where we use these workshops in here that are more rough, and we have all of these different kinds of tools. And quite often this class can also work outside, because it's a quite messy process when you work with wood. And maybe I could just show you, because this room is not used today. This is called the Rocket. That's where we have project leadership and personal leadership, but also political activism and climate activism. So you could say that it's messy, but actually quite often it looks like this, because it's a room where we move around, and then we do something like here, a tool that we use here, and then you sit up there because you look at the projector, or then you move out in smaller groups and you discuss and you do brainstorms and have new ideas. In here to the next room, the outdoor class have their indoor meeting, but quite often they are outside, right? Because it's outdoor class. But they also have an indoor meeting place, so where they can look at maps or plan their route or how to build a shelter or whatever it could be, but normally they're outside. And down here we have the room of Compass. And there is a subject called Compass that is about self-development, but there are also other different classes down here right now. They have yoga and mindfulness. And so we'll just sneak in, maybe we'll be quiet.
So,
hello, we're just looking, is that okay?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
See, there are different pace in different classes. So mountain bike, that's one energy. Ceramic is another energy. This is, so you can put your schedule together as you want it. So maybe you feel like having this energy, this yoga, meditation, more soft energy, where you work more with your body, but also with your inner environment. It can also be that then you need to move, or you need to do something creative, or there could also be that you need something for the mind. So some classes that are maybe more about discussing or understanding, or the future, or whatever it could be, our society. So there are many different classes. I think we have more than 60 subjects that you can choose from, and some are small, so it's just like a 2-3 hour things, and some are maybe 5 hours on the schedule during a week. And then sometimes we also kind of erase the normal schedule, and then you have one subject for a whole week. And that could last week we had this kind of subject week, and then someone did podcast. So for a whole week they did just podcast, or some did like a nature quest thing where they got in connection with nature. So they took like tours away from the school every day. It can be other things, and then we move back to the normal schedule where you have like new subjects each day. So let's go and look in the gym, because I think they will be dancing. yeah, so as you see, there are both for sports activities, there's basket, you can put in nets, and there are soccer goals. But right now everything is away, so it's an open space, and therefore it's a good space for instance, dancing. Great. So we have another space, another place that I want to show you, and it's in the bonfire hut, where today they have cooking on fire. And while we walk there, we'll just go through the mansion park. We have a mansion down here that we can also use for classes, but mostly we actually use the other rooms. But there's a nice park to hang out in, and there are so many small spaces where you can find your own room outside. So if you need to be alone, or if you need to, I don't know, do something with someone else. We have some teachers and staff that lives at the school. So different places, there are houses and also some in the sites of the mansion. So that's also something that's special about a folk high school, that teachers and students, they meet each other, of course, in the classroom where the teachers, they're teaching and facilitating the process, but they also meet each other in the everyday life. When I live just over here, so when I'm off, then I come here with my kids, and I'm still Gro, but I'm also mother. And then you would see me and all the other staff members in different situations, and that creates a special relationship. And it's something that I believe is quite rare, and it's quite special for folk high schools, that the staff is of course staff, and they have some responsibility, and I'm the teacher, but I'm also just human, and I meet you also as a human being, and some international students can have a hard time understanding, or kind of, it's new to them, because they have always seen teachers as someone high in the hierarchy, or as leaders, and then they meet us here as normal people, and I think it's very beautiful that we can meet each other in many different situations, and we can learn a lot from this, I think. But we have conversations about this also with international students. How is this? And it's often quite different from what they've experienced before, at least in some countries. So down here is the bonfire hut, and they have this cooking on fire class today. And I guess the title tells what it is. It's about cooking food, but not in a kitchen, but actually do it on a bonfire. But here is there's a lot of smoke here. Yes. What are you cooking today?
It's called one pot pasta.
One pot pasta. Can we see?
Yeah.
And then you're having lunch here?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have this class, you will have lunch here in the bonfire hut and eat what you have prepared. So you really need to make it good, because it's actually your own lunch that you're making. That's nice. So if you have an idea, it was a student that had this idea of building this, and then they found the materials, and they found all the knowledge and the clay in the ground, that's like Brandbjerg clay, and then they built this pizza oven so that they could have homemade pizzas out here. So it's also, when we have this huge space outside, it's also a playground. So if you have some ideas, something you want to do, or something you have knowledge about, then bring it in. Often students also teach each other things. We have a student here that can weave in what's the word? You know, these trees that you can weave baskets in, so he can weave baskets, and then he's teaching that. And yeah, all different kind of things, both inside and outside. But really, it's a place to bring in your own ideas and thoughts and passions, and also knowledge, and then also support what other brings in. Okay, I never thought I would learn to knit, but there are some really great knitters, and then okay, I'll try it, and they'll teach me. Or it can be other things, right? Yeah. So up there, you see that square up there. That's a lot of apple trees, a few other trees, but fruit trees, and there's like gardens in between. And then we have our sheeps here that are part of the Højskole as well. And down there, just down there, we have this forest that I told about. This beautiful, beautiful forest. I'll just take Noe. He'll show us his room.
Okay. We might have the nicest door, I think.
Wow.
It's a bit messy, like I said. Two boys together.
Okay, so you have two beds, and you have a desk.
We quite divided the space, even if we can just take some more space over here.
Okay. Yeah. So you have like one, and he has
Yes,
one, and
yes.
okay. But what about your closets out here?
It's also the same, we divided in two. So I have my stuff over here, and here's this stuff over there.
And then you have space here for hanging clothes. No. And then every room has its own bathroom and toilet. It's small, but it's nice that you don't need to share with others than your roommate. Open. Yeah. Okay, so this is a small, library or place to hang out and have more calm conversation. There are many different books here that you can borrow, and also in different languages. Most of them are Danish, but there's also English books. What we call sound house. This house that is for music and the different subjects we have within music. You can both have it as your primary subject, your A subject, but you can also have band or electronic music, or some other smaller subjects within music where you get to play something. And it's a room where you can play music, and there's one more in here. And then we also have a studio, so quite often the A subject also record their songs in the end of the semester, so they have them for future use, and just so that they can remember it from that. But I think we've been through most of the school. If you have any questions, just write or call us or anything like that. But I think, that was it. So have a great day, and I hope to see you at Brandbjerg.